You're listening to Will County's News Talk Sports 1340 WJO. Well, it's time for the Money Talk Radio Show presented by our friends at NuMark Credit Union. Today, we're going to talk about first-time home buying with Harry Stewart, the NuMark Credit Union Vice President of Mortgage Lending. We'll bring Harry on in a moment. Couple of housekeeping items to address. We are going to be giving away a $25 Visa gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. We'll do that at the end of the program. Just listen to our conversation, and you'll easily be able to answer a question at the end. If you're the first caller on the Turk Furniture studio line at 815-254-7300, and you know the answer, you will win a $25 Visa gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. And if you need help financing your next big step, whether you're buying a home, getting behind the wheel of a new or pre-driven vehicle, or tackling projects with a home equity line of credit, NuMark Credit Union offers flexible loan options designed to fit your needs and budget. From mortgages to auto loans and HELOCs, NuMark is ready to help you move forward with confidence. Visit NuMarkCU.org for more details. That's NuMarkCU.org for more details. Mr. Harry Stewart, good morning, sir.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing fine and dandy. It's ironic that I read a commercial about HELOCs. I just asked you a question about HELOCs yesterday. After all, you're my mortgage guy.
I know. I was like, oh man, Scott. Just talked yesterday. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, good to talk to you, buddy. Good to hear from you. Harry Stewart has been at NuMark for many, many years and has taken care of a lot of people, just like he took care of me a few years ago. So, welcome back, my friend. What have you been doing in the meantime? Anything good?
Nothing really. I would say, like, as far as mortgage business, we're super busy. I'm also moving. I'm helping my daughter move. I'm helping my other daughter buy a house. And I'm moving my son out this month to Purdue. They want him out there early, so yeah. I'm going to move him. So my June is going to be so crazy. And I always lie to myself. I'm always like, okay, next week will be easier, or less busy. But it never is. It's always one thing after another. So
why is we hear all these horror stories in the news? Why are you busy doing mortgages right now? Because if you listen to the media, they say it's a dead market.
I don't know. Because I'll talk to other friends that are in the industry, and some of them are doing great, some of them are struggling. I don't know why we maintain. I would say it's probably our member base is pretty loyal. So I feel like we get a lot of our business from our member base, but we're actually bringing in a ton of new members too. And I feel like it's a great time to look for a home or buy a home. It's still a little bit of a seller's market, but it's kind of evening out a little bit more. I feel the rates are I guess normal. They're not going to be as low as like when we did your loan a couple of years ago, but it's low in relation to the higher rates of the 80s and 90s. So I feel like if you could get a rate in the high fives or low sixes, it's still a normal mortgage rate.
You got it right. Absolutely. So, all right, so let's get into first-time home buyers and speak to them specifically. Why is now a meaningful time for first-time home buyers to educate themselves about the process?
I saw an article, and I guess I'm kind of paraphrasing it a little bit, but it just basically said the mortgage, and I'm kind of stealing a little bit of pieces of it, but I'd say the mortgage and buying a home, more specifically, I would say it's the best vehicle for building wealth in the country. Like a lot of people have their wealth tied up into their home or even additional properties, and I feel like it's a number one wealth builder, like a wealth building vehicle in the country. And there's something American about owning a home, like the home ownership is the American dream. Like, hey, I'm going to have the house, I'm going to have the picket fence, I'm going to have the dog and the kids. Like it's kind of America, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of, you're 100% right, and it's also, thinking down the road. It's there regardless of how much 401k you have or whatever. It usually, people that have a home are in a good position to leave that home to their children once they no longer are with us, if that makes sense.
Yep. It's something that you can help pass on that wealth. Nobody thinks about it, but it happens. Before you know it, you owe maybe $100,000 on $1 million house, and you never thought about that when you bought the house back in 1983 or whatever the date was. So, but that's a good asset to pass along to your
it is, and that should be figured into one's net worth as well. When you're thinking about, okay, I have this in 401k, this and this, maybe a pension, maybe this, that, or the other, and that should and it is factorable in as far as what you've accumulated as far as your wealth is concerned. So absolutely. So let's get into the first step someone should take when they decide they want to buy a home, regardless of the age. This isn't just for somebody in their 20s or early 30s. This is for anyone who's never owned a home. So listen up.
The very first step you want to take, you want to get pre-approved first. It kind of gives you almost a blueprint. Like, hey, I could afford up to this, or I need to do this in order to afford what I want to afford. It just kind of gives you a good base to start with, and you could get pre-approved by either applying online at our website. You could call us, or you can stop into any one of our offices and talk to one of our MLOs. And sometimes I like to use like a combination. Like if I'll talk to somebody, I'll ask them to apply online, and then I'll meet them in person. So I cover all three of them. But it's really easy. I would say the whole pre-approval process. Yeah. To get a pre-approval letter takes maybe a half hour, 45 minutes.
That's it. Wow. And it's extremely important, very, very important. People just need to come in and give you some information. What do they need to bring?
Every situation's different, but I would say, like, if I was just rattling off a list of basic documents, I'm just going to ask for last 2 months or last 30 days of paycheck stubs, last 2 years of W-2s and tax returns. I'd ask for asset documents, like last 2 months of bank statements, checking account statements, any type of retirement or I guess to focus on it, I would say wherever you're getting that down payment from, and that would be a good start for any pre-approval appointment. If they're getting income sources from other things like a business, I would ask for 2 years of business tax returns. If they have other properties already, I'd ask for all the schedules, including the Schedule E, where you claim your rental income. If they're getting any type of Social Security or pension, I'm going to ask for recent statements for that. And if they're getting any type of alimony or child support that we're using to qualify them for the loan.
You got it. All right. Pretty simple. Credit's obviously a big thing. Let's talk a little bit about understanding your credit, and if there are blemishes, what options do you have?
No, credit score is really important. We have so many programs that kind of span, like low credit score all the way to the upper credit scores. But I would say a higher credit score is going to give you additional flexibility on your loan program. Possibly a better rate, just depending on the program. But if somebody were to have blemishes on that credit report, like that, I think that's a difference between NuMark and maybe some of the larger banks that are more cookie cutter. We're not going to tell somebody no. We're going to build a plan for them. So if we do run somebody's credit, it's got some blemishes like a previous bankruptcy or maybe some collections or repossession or something that happened in their past, we're gonna run different what-if simulators. Hey, if we pay this down, if we pay this off, or we clear up this error on, or this blemish on the credit report, what potential scores are we going to get? And it's going to kind of give us almost like a roadmap of where it's going to be, or the credit score is going to be in the future. So it could be a month down the road, it could be 6 months down the road. But if we build something, or build a plan and execute that plan, there's no reason why we can't get somebody in a home. So it's, sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it's something pretty simple. So
yep, we're talking to Harry Stewart. Harry is the vice president of mortgage lending with NuMark Credit Union. We're talking to first-time home buyers. Debt-to-income ratio. Explain that.
Debt ratio is basically a lending term. It's best way to explain it is going to be gross monthly income versus gross monthly expenses. So the things that would go into a debt ratio are going to, like, as far as the debts, are going to be like obviously your new mortgage payment is going to be figured into that. It's going to be your real estate taxes. It's going to be your taxes. Your real estate taxes. Your homeowner's insurance, mortgage insurance would also go in there. That's if you put down less than 20% on your purchase. But you're also going to have your auto any auto loans or monthly credit card bills. Those are going to be included in there. Really anything that you would pay on a monthly basis. The one thing that wouldn't go in there would be like utilities, unless it's reported on your credit report. So that wouldn't be in there. Student loans is a big thing. Depending on the program, we have to use like a percentage of student loans, even if they are deferred, to calculate your debt ratio.
Sure.
Even if you're not paying them, we have to put in a figure for our calculations. So that's going to be as far as the expenses. But your gross monthly income, it's the income that you would have before taxes, and we would basically develop a ratio off of your gross monthly income versus your gross expenses.
Sure.
And I'd say typically that's going to be a good number. I would say a good number is going to be like maybe something in the mid to high 30s, depending on your comfortability. But I've seen us close loans, especially with some of the government programs, like over a 50% debt ratio, sometimes like 53, 54%. I know some of the VA loans, because they worked on something more like a residual income versus that ratio. The residual income is just a little more important.
All right. What about down payments, Harry? What I know it's different. Is it, back in the day it was 20%. I don't believe it's 20% any longer.
No, we can. We do loans with as low of a down payment as 3%. We've got everybody knows FHA. That's 3.5% down. We've got some really nice housing impact programs that we were doing at 95%. We can now do those housing impact loan programs with 3% down. Which when we pair that with our Federal Home Loan Bank Down Payment Plus grant, it's like win-win. It's pretty easy to do. I always like to joke around with people. I feel like we have the keys to the cookie jar, because we get all everybody's grant, and we've gotten so good at it. We end up we submit those grant approvals for our members, and we typically get an approval within 24 or 48 hours on those. And it's the Down Payment Plus grant is $10,000 that is 100% forgivable. All they have to do is live in the property for 4 or 5 years, and it's 100% forgivable. We'll subordinate it if somebody wants to refinance. And the only qualifying characteristic for this Down Payment Plus grant is you just have to be at 80% or below for the median HUD median income for the property or the county that you're buying the property in. So, and that's household income. So if you have a household of 4 or 5 people, that limit's going to be a lot higher than somebody buying a home by themselves.
Sure.
So
absolutely. Harry, the best time of year to start house hunting, does it matter? I know a lot of real estate agents, they're like, if you need a house in October, you're going to look for a house in October. You need a house in January, you're going to look for a house. Spring traditionally has been the house buying time of year. What are you seeing?
I would say, spring market's always been a strong market. I think it starts ramping up really. Well, this year it seemed like it started a little bit earlier, but it typically starts around, the end of February, and it goes through. Like I've had some really, really busy June and Julys, even though it's not technically spring market, it's, I guess you could call it summer market. And then it dies off maybe a little bit in August as people get ready to get back to school. And then it hits back up, September, October, and November. Usually I'd say like Thanksgiving is like the cutoff where everybody stops doing anything around the holidays. But I've had some pretty crazy Decembers too. So I'm trying to think of like one time where it hasn't been busy. But as far as a home buyer goes, if I'm looking at, you're probably going to have more to choose from in the spring,
mm-hmm.
or like more inventory to choose from, because maybe there's not a lot of people that are looking to sell
sure.
in December. So like your pickings might be a little slimmer, you know what I mean? Like less opportunities. So maybe that plays into it, but I think there's going to be a lot more. But maybe if you're a seller, maybe you're looking, hey, like I'm going to be the only game in town in my subdivision if I list my house here around Christmas.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So,
Harry,
from a buyer.
Yeah, from a buyer standpoint, it's the spring. There's more options, no doubt about that. Give people right now some advice. The months leading up to applying for a mortgage, I think this is one of the most important questions to ask is, okay, you're not sure yet what's going on, but you think you're going to buy. What should we do now to get ready for 3, 4, 5 months down the road?
So I would, like, we get so many buyers, and they'll, like, first time home buyers, because they might not know. And I feel like sometimes we're a little bit late to the game to looking to get pre-qualified. Like, we'll get a lot of people like, hey, my lease is expiring, or my lease is up in 3 weeks. I got to find a house. I would start a few months before that. So if you know your lease is up, say June 1st or July 1st, you really want to start that process in March, just to see where you stand.
Mm-hmm.
See like what. That way you have a good picture of what to do, and everything's not rushed. But you really don't know what you have until you do get pre-approved. So
right. That's true.
I think that's probably the biggest thing. Like, don't wait too long in order to get pre-approved, even if you think you've got time with your lease coming.
Right.
Up in 3 weeks, because you still have to find a house. Seller still has to accept your offer. It's just putting an unnecessary time crunch on you.
2 final questions, and we'll let you go. I know you're busy here today. Number 1 is what you wish every first-time buyer knew before starting this journey, and number 2, sell yourself, Harry. What should first-time home buyers look for in a mortgage provider? And I'm going to guess you're going to say you.
Yeah. I would say, so me, and more specifically NuMark Credit Union, we differentiate ourselves from the bigger banks, as you know. We're not looking, like, we're 100% member-driven. We're non-for-profit. So any excess fees that we bring in, we give right back to the members. I know we talked at the beginning of the year, or it was late last year, and we talked about 1.4 million that we gave back to the members that everybody saw put into their checking accounts. I've never heard of a bank doing anything like that. We don't get paid. Myself, my staff, my loan officers, they don't get paid based on how high of a rate or how many fees that they charge. We get everything's a pass through to our members. So if we can make a loan, and even if we're not making money, we're gonna make the loan. If the difference is, hey, if we close a loan and make no money and keep our members happy, we're gonna do that versus like, hey, we're not gonna make any money, so we can't make the loan. Which is more of a bank mentality. So I would say that really differentiates myself and NuMark Credit.
All right, and the thing you wish every first-time home buyer knew.
I would say trust the process, kinda. If we put a plan together, I'd say maybe trust that process. I think every time you ask me that, it's going to be a different answer based on what's happening currently. Like I'll think about like a recent example, but I would say, trust the professionals, and everything will be fine. Like if we're like, hey, we just need this and this and this, no need to stress. We've done it 1,000 times. So
been there, done that. Years of experience. The grizzled veteran that is one Harry Stewart, Vice President of Mortgage Lending from NuMark Credit Union. Need to get a hold of Harry? You can just find him through the website or any of their other outstanding mortgage lenders at NuMark Credit Union. Harry, thanks for your time this morning, my friend. We'll be talking to you real soon.
Thanks, Scott. Talk to you soon.
Yep. Need help financing your next big step, whether you're buying a home, getting a line of, or getting behind the wheel of a new approved-driven vehicle, or tackling projects with that home equity line of credit. NuMark Credit Union offers flexible loan options designed to fit your needs and budget, from mortgages to auto loans to HELOCs. NuMark is ready to help you move forward with confidence. Visit newmarkcu.org. All right, here's the question for a $25 Visa gift card. How much money does someone realistically need for a down payment today? 815-254-7300. You call me right now, first caller, and you are going to win a $25 Visa gift card. Compliments of NuMark Credit Union.